Hey everyone, my name is Paul Joseph Russell, but you can just call me Joe. I've embarked on a journey to write my first novel, in fact, a trilogy of novels called Rivendoah. I live with my husband Richard on 6 acres of land nestled in the wilds of Virginia, and every Monday I post a video sharing the progress of my writing as well as projects on our little stretch of land. For today's video, we will be featuring marshmallows, mushrooms, and magic. So, I hope you'll join me on my adventures in living as a writer and an artist. Welcome everybody back to my author's channel here on YouTube. For this week's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. It's almost sunset, and I'm going to be making a fire out here at the clearing where I'm going to brew up some coffee and have a delicious, decadent, sweet treat. But before I get started, I'm going to light the fire, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to let you all go on a little trip amongst the mushrooms. I've been, every time I walk the dogs over the course of the last couple of weeks, I've been finding beautiful little mushrooms in our forest and woods behind the house. We've had a lot of tropical storms, which has made the ground very wet, and the mushrooms just love it. So why don't y'all sit back and enjoy this trip among the mushrooms. I hope you enjoyed that. There's a variety of colors and interesting shapes, and I thought might be something you guys would enjoy. But as darkness falls and descends on timbrous wings out here at the clearing, I want you to join me around the fire while I discuss the magic of Rivendoah. Hey, if any of you guys have ghost stories to tell, now would be the time to do it as night begins to descend. The fire is just starting to warm up. I'm getting ready to get my cook pots out for making coffee. And if you have any spooky stories, I'd love to hear them. The fire is getting a little bit hotter. I'm going to be adding some more to it to bank up some coals, which I'll need to make my sweet treat tonight, and to make my coffee. Coffee first, and then our little bit of a dessert. While that's going, and I'm waiting for it to burn the wood, which is a little bit slower because I think it's been so damp recently, I want to talk a little bit about the magic in Rivendoah. One of the things I really wanted to try and achieve was to make the magic in my story rooted in reality. I'm a fan of the way that Tolkien uses magic in The Lord of the Rings, because he uses it sparingly, and usually when it is used, it has consequences for the person who uses it. For instance, Gandalf, when he's on the stairs in Moria looking up, and he's struggling with the Balrog in the next room in the chamber of Marzabul, he is left, the ceiling collapses and they fly down the steps to try and escape, and which is a little bit different than in the movie. This is in the book. He is left just exhausted, nearly spent. And I like that idea that, magic arises from the spirit, and that if you use it, it can take a lot out of you to do it. And whereas I think the magic used by the evil characters will have less of that type of impact because of how they acquire magic and power. I'm going to go ahead and add some more wood to the fire and get those coals banked up, and then I'll get back with you in a minute. In developing my ideas about the magic in Rivendoah, I did a lot of research and spent a lot of time combing over different ideas to try and figure out what would be the best way to generate this magic in the story. And I finally kind of have settled on the magic being built on a mixture of three components: metallurgy, the use of metals, symbols, and life force. they are combined in such a way that they extend life to the people who are sucking that magic out, and they can use it to control others and to breed monstrous creatures. And Malcolm Sutton sort of stumbled upon the use of this, the use of these elements, and now has honed them down to the point where it has given him great strength and long life. But the price for that is sort of a loss of humanity and a loss of his soul. That, we're going to kind of see more of that as the story progresses. I don't want to give too much away on that at this point. Boy, the fire is taking a bit of a time to get started here. It's slowly heating up, and the wood is slowly burning, I think, because it's, like I said, it's damp. But we're getting there, and when we do, I will get that coffee brewing. Okay, got a lot more wood added to the fire, and now I'm gonna go ahead and prep my, actually I don't need that right now. I'm gonna go ahead and prep my water container, which you've seen me use many times before if you've been out here with me by the clearing. I got my water pot, and I have my coffee maker, which is a French press, and I've shown you this many times before for those of you who have come along. If this is your first time, you might have seen one of these. It's actually a French press. You put the hot water, I boiled the hot water in this one. I put the hot water in here with the coffee, and then you use this press, which has this really fine screen on it, and push it down like that, and you get coffee without grinds, or at least not without many. So anyway, gonna go ahead and get that set up. I will give you a sneak peek over here of what's coming tonight. Got marshmallows as promised, graham crackers, and a little bit of Hershey's chocolate in here. And you can sort of make up your own mind about what I'm going to make. I think you probably know, but I'll save that for later. For right now, I am going to go ahead and get the coffee in here and get it ready. Fire's still moving kind of slow, but that'll be fun because it's going to get darker here, and that'll make for more fun around the campfire. So I got my coffee in here. See that? And might as well get my water ready. I'm gonna put this on here, keep it covered. Got my handy dandy Energizer. I'll flash you with this. Let me do that. But I got this, and that. So if it gets too dark, I can still talk to you and won't get swallowed up in the darkness. Okay, so let's get our water prepped. There we go. Save a little bit to put out the fire at the end of the evening. I want to make sure we don't have any coals going. I tell you, it is so damp after all the rain that we've had. I don't think there's any way a fire could spread. All right, what else do I need to do? I also wanted to show you this. I've been working on this. Cut a nice branch. I've got the huge size marshmallows, mega size, and I created this nice little handheld stick that I can put down over the fire and have 2 marshmallows cooking. And I'm just finishing up, tightening and sharpening the ends. As you can see here, we're coming along nicely. Let me show you how sharp that is. We need to let those coals burn down and not have as much flame so that the marshmallows don't get burnt instead of toasty. All right, back to the magic. Metallurgy, as I envision it in Rivendoah, is based upon the metal iron, which specifically is wrought iron, which is forged from heat and hammers, flames. Iron has always had a has been known to have mystical properties. The particular wrought iron in Rivendoah is a mixture of what is called sky iron and earth iron. Sky iron is celestial in nature in that it comes from meteors that crash to the earth. Earth iron is vomited up as volcanic basalt upon the earth. And there are very rare places within Virginia where my antagonists and protagonists are kind of doing battle, where these two elements are locked together. Volcanic and celestial have come together and created this magical metallurgy of wrought that can be turned into wrought iron and beaten with flame and fire and hammers and molded into a shape that, along with symbols, which is the other magical element, when combined with symbols, the wrought iron is given a new quality that gives it more power. The symbols, which are etched into the iron, come from primarily the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which was discovered by Malcolm Sutton in the story. Of course, they were discovered in Egypt. They are a series of scrolls that were sort of conveniently called the Book of the Dead. But he acquires the printed version of the Book of the Dead, and through the symbols that he finds there, he sort of twists them and ruins them by combining them together so that they have a different meaning. And then when they're etched on the wrought iron, they create sort of an evil power. That brings us to the third component. We have the wrought iron, we have the symbols from the Book of the Dead that have been twisted and changed into something they're not really meant to be, combined with the third element, which is life force, for better of another word, spirit. Life force is combined with this potent mixture of alchemy, and when it occurs, when they're all brought together, it produces a great power that can be used against others, and it also gives long life. It's an evil power that is born through fear, suffering, and death of the innocent. That is how the power is extracted, so to speak. And of course, I'll get into more detail. You'll find out more details about that in the book. I'm just sort of giving a broad overview of how those how magic springs forth in my trilogy of novels, Rivendoah. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, the fire is starting to die down a little bit. I got some coals going. I'm going to get my grill on, get the water boiling, get my coffee made. Then while that's brewing, I'll talk a little bit more about how those three elements together are combined, and how they're combined and used in Rivendoah. So let's go ahead and take a peek at this fire and see what we can do. Right. Got my coffee. And whew, nice and hot. Now I'm going to let that brew a minute, and then we'll be ready for some coffee. Then let's talk about a little bit more about the magic in Rivendoah. All right, well, I hope that's enough light here with the firelight and our my Energizer here to give you enough light to see by. It's definitely feeling a little spooky out here, don't you think? The weapons, you know, in the story, Malcolm Sutton takes these three elements and combines them together. And I'm not going to tell you exactly how because I don't want to give too much away, but he does so, and one of the elements that he brings them all together in is a weapon that he calls a cudgel. And a cudgel is sort of like a club. It's created wrought iron, etched with symbols, and then imbued with this spirit that is stolen from animals and people. And how it's stolen is through terror and horror and murder. and I'll kind of sort of get into how that functions in the story at a later date, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just leave that part of it as a surprise. But the terrible human emotion that occurs when those things happen is drawn out of them. So it's a negative emotion. It's a negative element of spirit that is imbued into these cudgels, and the cudgels are, you know, created with flame and fire and on an anvil with a hammer, as traditional blacksmithing of wrought iron is made. So, you know, it's all worked together into this thing that then can be used as a weapon, and it is a very, and with this power within the wrought iron, it becomes a very deadly weapon, stronger than any other kind of weapon. So, you know, whether someone comes at him, you know, Malcolm, with a gun or a, you know, a knife or a sword or any kind of lethal weapon, he can use the cudgel to destroy them and whatever weapon they have. In the story of Rivendoah, the heroes of the story must learn to forge their own weapons to combat this evil power. And how they imbue the weapons with power works differently. I definitely don't want to give that away at this point because there's some surprises there. But in a way, it is fighting fire with fire in Rivendoah. They do have the forces of good and the force of evil have to do battle with one another with these cudgels and other aspects and other ways in which evil creates monsters and creatures that can be used against the heroes also. Okay, well, before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and pour my coffee and we'll see how it looks so far. Let me get my gloves on, and I will use I brought my infamous kuksa, which I always like to have out here at the clearing. And let me get my gloves on, and if I can find them here in the dark. Tell you, I can't, oh, here, they're on the ground. Boy, that fire is really cooking down now. I'm gonna have to take this off. I don't really need that. I won't need it for my sweet treat. So get that. Ooh, look how hot that is. That is burning hot. We got a nice set of coals. This will be perfect for the marshmallows. All right, I'm getting ready to pour my coffee. I don't know if I captured the making, you know, pushing down the coffee press, but if I didn't, you know, I've done it in other videos. Maybe I'll just insert one here. But anyway, let me go ahead and pour this. I'm going to show you. Got my coffee, my kuksa. Yeah, that looks, I don't know if you can see that in the light because it is kind of dark, but that looks nice and black. Ooh, can you see that steaming? Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that is hot. That is hot. Ooh, spilling it. All right. Now, let me go ahead and get my gloves off. All right, I think we have reached complete darkness now, which was kind of the whole point of coming out here and talking about magic. It's a little bit spooky, which I thought would be kind of fun. And, you know, we're into September and October's on its way. It's definitely cooled down, but we're probably going to feel a little bit more heat of summer before autumn takes over. All right. So, in conclusion, I can hardly read, you know, I got my little script here. I can hardly read it. I might have to bring this over so I can see. This one makes it a little spookier. Finding the correct mixture of sky and earth iron is very difficult, and there is not a whole lot of it to be found in Virginia. But there are a few locations, and the the heroes are sort of in a race to gather what they need to make their version of weapons with the wrought iron before Sutton and his followers do, because there's going to be a moment when they come together and have the ultimate fight against good and evil. Boy, that looks really spooky, doesn't it? Ooh, ooh. So anyway, I guess I'll close it by saying, the heroes are on a quest to obtain these rare earth metals and forge them into weapons to destroy the enemy. And they are on a time, they have a very little time to do this. It's really going to be over the course of several months, which is when the books take place. Maybe a year. I kind of want to incorporate elements of snow and summer in both, and throughout the course of the 3 novels. But in the first novel, that really just takes place in the fall, really over a 2-month period. So anyway, I'll go ahead and stick this back over here since I'm sort of done reading. I hope that gives you guys at least a little taste of what Rivendoah has to offer in terms of magic. And I hope you've enjoyed this time together talking about magic. Okay, now it's time for the sweet treat. I've got them right here. I'm going to go ahead and take my marshmallows, and these are the super mega giant size. I'm going to go ahead and put them right here on my marshmallow roaster. Got 2 of them, and that should be enough for a fairly large s'more, maybe 2. I have some Hershey's chocolate and some graham cracker. So anyway, why don't we see what we can do? This one's definitely ready. Woo! Hot. All right, this one is definitely ready. I think this one needs to go a little bit longer, but that one is ready. So I'm gonna take the chocolate, get out my graham cracker, stick that on, let all that heat work onto that chocolate to melt it. Look how delicious that is. I'm gonna put my graham cracker on top, squeeze it. Ooh, it's coming out all over. That looks great. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but that is so good. The hot marshmallow is browned here on this side, you can see, and it's melting the chocolate underneath. It just smells delicious, and I can't wait to try this. All right. That is just beyond. That is really good. I don't know if you can see that. That chocolate is melted in there. I tell you, there's nothing like summer, like a s'mores around a campfire. If you get a chance to get out in the woods and make your own campfire and make a s'mores before the summer ends, we can guarantee you're gonna love it. If you have never had a s'mores, there's just nothing like a s'mores to make you think of your childhood. We used to make these in the summer. We used to do them on my dad had a charcoal grill, and we do them around the grill, and loved it. Yep. Too good. And it really goes down with a nice hot cup of coffee out of a wooden kukso. That's good. That is really good. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and finish my s'mores, and so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up tonight. I hope you have enjoyed my marshmallows, mushrooms, and magic video, and I hope you've gotten a little bit of an idea of how I'm going to work the magic in Rivendoah. Some of it I'm still working out, and you guys are kind of on for the ride to see how I do it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up before it cools down, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, and by the way, if you could give me a thumbs up if you like this video, that would be great. Of course, subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell to get notifications of my upcoming videos, and that'll help like-minded people like you find my channel who might be interested in the kind of thing I'm doing here on my channel, describing the writing of Rivendoah. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Loving it. Too good.